Just be you. Dude, when I was like 19, I was fucking socially retarded. So I'm like, what do you mean be me? Like, no one wants to hang out with someone socially retarded.
That sales manager got fired.
Yeah, rest in peace.
And I got him fired also 2 years ago.
Rest in peace. If you're Indian and you clearly look Indian and you have an Indian accent, yes, people are gonna perceive you as lower status. It's just the fucking truth. It's just how it goes.
Yep. Wow, we're gonna cancel. We're gonna get canceled, bro, because of you.
Welcome to another episode of the Dynasty Podcast. Today we're gonna talk about, should you use a sales script or should you not use a sales script? Controversial topic. So we're going to that. We're also going to talk about our best moments in our sales career and our worst moments, our lowest moments in sales career, and what we learned from it. So if you're down for this episode, smash that like button, subscribe, and let's get into the episode.
You're such a professional YouTuber now.
Oh yeah, there we go.
Nowadays, I don't know.
Subscribe to my OnlyFans.
When I get introduced to new people now, I didn't tell my mom, by the way, or my
Wait, your
brother.
mom doesn't know we saw the podcast?
No, I don't want her to see the podcast episodes, me cussing around, you know. But well, anyway.
Send it to Jun's mom. Whoever is watching this, send it to Jun's mom.
Well, no one knows where my mom is. So don't worry. I'm not worried about that. But yeah, whenever I see new people, and now I'm calling them, oh, I'm a YouTuber now. What a subscribe, you know.
Wow. We're like Jake Paul and Logan Paul.
I'm getting people, every single person I know now. I'm like getting, subscribe.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
I did that when I was hitting on this one real estate agent girl, and then I made her subscribe to our YouTube channel. I actually did that a few times because everyone's a real estate agent in Dubai. Anyways, let's go into the episode. So this is a topic, right? Some people say, hey, you should use a script, and some people say, no, that's inauthentic, or hey, that's not natural. What's your thoughts on it?
In order for you to be natural in a conversation, you need to know what to say. Like, that needs to be gotten out of the way already. Like, when someone says something, you need to just formulate a question automatically in your mind in 0.01 second and understand your next 5 moves already. At least that's how I want to be trained, and that's how I train myself. So if someone says something, I automatically think of the next 5 questions already. Like, I can just, so I did a role play with a student, actually. I was like, it's like saying this, I was like not even looking at the screen. I was like, and like objection handling and like everything was done in like 5 minutes. Like literally, I knew exactly what to say every single second. I knew he was gonna say this. I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna say that. Oh, he goes in this sequence. I'm gonna say this then. So I know exactly what to say in 0.01 second. But in order for you to actually listen to the prospect, memorizing your script should be your baseline. You should get that out of the way first of all, in order for you to fully focus on the other person, to hear the incongruencies or certain language patterns or certain keywords. Like if you want to actually listen to them and pay attention, you already have to know what you're going to say next already. It's already in your mind already. It's not even, because what I see also is that, I don't know if you see this all the time, but it drives me crazy. Like, people add so much fluff in their calls. Like, people's ads.
What do you mean by that?
So you could, like, this is the reason why I know this, because I've been there before, is that if someone says something and then they're like, they don't have, like, I've never had the reflex, by the way. I never had the gift of the gab. Like, I cannot formulate words on the spot. I need a structure. So what I used to do was I would just be like, oh, understood, and think for a while and then ask my next question. That's at least not bad. What people do is, oh yeah, and you have to understand the mechanism, and they start adding all these like
ad-libs.
Yeah, like they're starting to add some sentences, words. It becomes like 1 minute, 2 minute rant, and then suddenly they're asking the next question. But I ask them, okay, what's going on over here? They're like, oh, what do you mean? Well, what you're doing right now is, I can see it from your eyes already, is that as you're saying that, as you're adding all that fluff for 1 minute, that statement, you're thinking of your next question, aren't you? Which is totally irrelevant from what he said also. Could have just said, why not? How so?
Because they don't know where to go.
They don't know where to go. So so you know what? The prospects are not verbalizing it, which is the scary part. They don't tell you, they don't give you direct feedback actually.
Yep.
Their feedback is they're not buying. That's it. Or objections really. But they're not verbalizing it. But guess what? They know they know it also. They smell it. Oh, this guy doesn't know where he's going also.
They may consciously be thinking that, or subconsciously they just think something's off. They can't quite put it out what it is. But this is important because Also in the dating community, they have this where in the traditional dating community, it's like, yeah, go out there, it's like just talk, be authentic,
Be
just
more
talk.
confident.
Just be more just be you. Dude, when I was like 19, I was fucking socially retarded. So I'm like, what do you mean being me? Like no one wants to hang out with someone socially retarded. So what happened was I'm like, okay, but I'm not present in the conversation because I'm like, okay, what should I say next? That was going on in the dating context and the sales context too. If I were to not use a script, I'm like, okay, so they're saying something, but I'm not present. Why? Because I'm like, what should I say next? Or where should I take this conversation next? So counterintuitively, yep, there's some people who do quite well without a script, but I think that's because they understand like the anatomy of the sales conversation so well. That's like, but that's more advanced though, right? So I remember when I was in closing code and I was talking to Jamie Reese Hopkins, and I asked him, so why should I follow script? Because like Matt Ryder, for example, he just like going all over with the script. And the answer Jimmy gave me was, oh, dude, because Matt's been selling for fucking 12 years, man. So it's kind of like a pickup driver, like a pickup truck driver that's been driving for 30 years. So he can drive with one hand on the steering wheel while answering a phone call while sipping a beer. Right? With like one leg on the fucking on the steering wheel. So they can do that because they know exactly what to do. But for a brand new driver, dude, you're gonna wreck the fucking car.
How important is it in terms of understanding why you're asking the question, though?
Oh, so fucking important. Because
Why do you say that?
it's not about the questions you ask. It's about the answers you're trying to get from the questions that you need for the sale. And so I think Cole Gordon was the first person I heard this from, but questions are a means to an end. You're trying to get the answers. And so the problem is that, yes, people use a script, but common pitfall that people fall into is that they'll just either being too rigid with the script, meaning that, you know, they're just trying to like answer question after question, but the person already answered the question, so they're asking the question again, and at that point, the prospect feels like it's kind of repetitive. Or the other realm, which is you ask a question, prospect doesn't answer the question, but they move on. As an example, right? So when you ask them, hey, like, what don't you like about your job? Or like, what's not working about the way you're losing weight? And then the prospect's like, yeah, you know, I'd like to make more money. He didn't answer the question. But I see this in calls all the time where the person will just move on. They haven't uncovered the problem, as an example. And if you haven't gotten the thing that you need to get, then the sale's not going to happen. So it's like a puzzle piece, right? Because if the prospect doesn't realize that they have a problem, or they don't feel like it's urgent enough for them to solve that problem, without a problem, there's no solution needed. Therefore, what do you get at the end?
Yeah.
Let me think about it. That's a lot of money. Yeah, I don't think I need this right now.
Yeah. So let's kind of go into the tactics side also, because that's how our brain works usually. It's Asian brain all the time. But
Asian brain.
So let's say like, what do you not like about it? No, let's roll, please. No, I just want to make more money.
I mean, brother, like everyone comes to us wanting to make more money. No one comes to us wanting to make less money. But like, what specifically though? So depending on the offer, right? Let's say we're doing like.
Let's say it's a biz op.
Okay, let's do
ecom
a biz.
coaching.
Okay, so you're making money. Okay, cool, brother. So what are you doing for a living now? What do you do for work?
I'm just a plumber.
Okay, how have you been doing that?
14 years.
That's quite a bit. Do you like it?
Not bad.
Okay, so it can't be all bad, right? So what do you like about your job?
I don't know. Like, I actually don't like it really.
Okay, what don't you like?
Just being this super dumb.
Wow,
prospect.
that was really like bipolar. I like it. I don't like it. Okay, that's fine.
So, no, it's just a lot of labor work, but I just want to make
Labor
money.
work? What do you mean?
Labor work. Just like I don't know, like my back hurts nowadays.
Oh, in what way?
But just when I get up every single day,
Yeah.
I feel this backache, and wow, I can see that you're carrying. I feel this backache, and I don't know, I'm just not able to walk in the morning. But yeah.
How long has it been going on for?
The last 4 years, I think.
And you having the backache, man, because like I've been there too, but like how's it showing up in your day to day?
Just not able to really walk out like my dog also, or my kids also, and
Oh, you have kids. How old?
2 and 4.
Ah, you're in the thick of it.
Into
Okay.
the thick of it.
Yeah. You want to change that?
I do.
Yeah.
But I mean, who doesn't want to make more money though? Right?
Well, brother, like that's other people. But what about for you? Now, pause. What we did there is, I mean, we did a bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
But basically, what's happening there is it's a lot more like conversational way of going about it. And then whenever you give an answer, I was like, because what happens is it's very interesting. So when a prospect starts talking about a problem, for example, what happens is they'll talk about a problem, and then they'll start to talk themselves out of the problem.
Yeah.
You did that multiple times. So,
Yeah.
oh, you know, like my back hurts, but it's not that bad. I didn't let you finish that sentence.
Yep.
Right? Because the moment I already knew. I knew exactly, like you talked about in the chess move, right? I knew exactly where you're going to move the chess piece. So I'm like, oh, he's trying to talk himself out of the problem. Now, people don't get this. Because prospects, yeah, I mean, that's why I'm here. That's why I'm trying to look more money. That's why I'm trying to do this. Now, it alleviates the pain. And people do this as a defense mechanism. And it's normal. It happens because they're trying to save their ego as an ego protection mechanism. Because they want to alleviate them from the pain. Like everyone wants to do that. But when you do that, it hurts the sale because it takes the pain out of the room. So what you got to do is you got to probe quicker. You got to probe quicker. So before the emotions go down, you keep spiking back up.
How did you probe that quick though?
So because I knew that, first of all, I knew exactly what I'm going to ask. I know the questions, but more importantly, I know where I need to take the sale. Here, I'm trying to find out the problem. What's the fucking problem? And so from here, you got to understand the problem, how long the problem's going on, and also why the problem is the problem. Meaning that how the problem's affecting them. In a biz op conversation, okay, so there's usually 3 types of problems. They're not making enough money, they're not having enough time, or they don't like their job.
Yeah.
In your case, it was a labor work. They don't like their job, but why? How is it showing up? Why do they not like it? So the question I asked was like, oh, you know, it's a lot of labor work. First, we'll clarify because what does it fucking mean? Labor work? Yeah, like lifting like bricks and heavy metals and things like that. Okay, I mean, what's that doing to you? So what I learned like traditional NEPQ from Jeremy, for example, is that has that had an impact on you? And I asked it that way. And for Jeremy, it works fucking phenomenal. For a lot of people, it does. For me, it just didn't. That's not how I talk. So it didn't feel that much conversational. But when I started listening to how Matt does it later on, Matt would just ask like, oh, what does that do? What's that doing to you? Oh, I would say that in a natural conversation. So let me start doing it that way. So I was like, yeah, what's that doing to you? It's like, it's kind of painful. Okay, like how is that showing up in your day to day? Because we want to know that. We understand like how's it showing up, how the problem's affecting them. And then you want to, you know, whenever I'm walking my dog or my children. And then there's also another thing I learned from Matt. Whenever someone has children, ask them how old they are. That's exactly what I did. How old they are. Because when you find out, it gets them more emotional.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, my little kids, right? It's like 1 and 2. And then another thing you can say is like, you're in the thick of it. And I don't know what that means exactly, but I started saying it because Matt has kids, so maybe he understands. But it's like what parents say to each other, I guess. It's like, oh, you're in the thick of it. They're like, yeah. It's relatable, which makes you feel more human, right? And so they open up more. So I was like, you're in the thick of it.
And you could put one thing I learned from you is you can put a frame also. Oh, yeah, kids grow up so fast, don't they?
Oh,
They're
yeah.
under-
No,
they're
dude.
under
Matt
the
does it
knees
like,
and the
he does the
shoulder
opposite,
now.
which is like, you know, good thing about little kids is they stay little for a very long time, right?
Fuck, man. What the fuck?
So fucking good. They're
Yeah.
like, and everyone, because what's the most common, like the most like dad joke things people say? Kids, they grow up so fast. So everyone fucking knows that, right? Especially, I don't have children, and at least we know of, we don't have children, but at least that we're aware of. But for people that have children, they only, kids grow up there so fast. So if you say, especially if a prospect is looking urgency, when you say stuff like, you know, good thing about kids is they stay low for a very long time, right? Or if they say, yeah, I want to pay for my kids' college tuition. Yeah, good thing about college tuition is that super cheap. And be like, bro, it's like 80 grand. It's like, right.
Oh. Anyways, and then he's like,
Anyways, yeah, bills a bigger
Anyways,
gap.
yeah.
Yeah.
Or like someone says, I'm making 50K a month, like proudly. Sorry, like 50K a week?
Yeah. So if they say, for example, right? Because a traditional, let's say they say like, oh, you know, like I made 5K, I made 10K. It's not bad. It's not a bad week. When you clearly know it's per month, it's not a bad week.
Oh, that's per month?
Per month? Oh.
Anyways.
Anyway, you just pause like, oh. Yeah, okay, anyways.
So that was so ugly.
Oh,
again.
it's so.
But the role play that we did you wing it?
I mean, yes and no. The thing is Matt said this. You need to understand the script and the questions you're asking, you know exactly where to take it. And you have to practice it, internalize it as part of your being so much that it's not something you do. You find yourself already doing it. So, as an example, when we did that, I didn't know we were going to do that role play. I was like, oh, okay. You know? So I was like, okay, so whatever. But it automatically flowed because when we're in Korea, we're selling to US leads. We woke up at like 3 in the morning or like midnight. So biologically standpoint, no, we were not feeling the best. We felt like shit. It's like, fuck. But we did that to obviously make more money and put food on the table. But when we got on, we haven't even taken a shower. Our eyes are like half asleep. But when we hit dial and then we talk to the prospect, we don't have to think. The words are already coming out.
Yeah.
Why? Because fucking repetition.
So, I mean, the reason why scripting is so important, the reason why you're memorizing and internalizing and mastering your script is so important is because not every day is going to be your best day.
No.
There are going to be days where you're going to break up with your loved one also, or most dramatic cases, your family dies also. What are you going to do? Rely on your intuition? When your brain is fucking fried at that point, your emotion is just lowest and you cannot do anything about it. Because humans do have emotions, you know.
Yep.
What are you going to do? You're not going to perform? Because Andy Elliott said, I love Andy Elliott, the nipple guy, basically.
Are you a salesman? No, sir. I'm a warrior.
So he said it, like the most under pressure and how you perform the most under pressure, that's your actual skill set.
That's your default. That's your baseline.
Default. That is your baseline, exactly. So let's put you in a room full of like closers, like 1,000+ closers, and let's see how you perform. That's your baseline. That's your skill set. The moment you stutter, the moment you hesitate, guess what? That's your skill set. Like I said, you can bash like Andy Elliott. You can say he's stupid all day. He's the one that he's promoting out there. He's the one that he's just performing in front of everyone.
I respect it.
You think you can do it? You think you can do it a better way? Stop commenting on Facebook, or stop commenting on his YouTube channels. Do it yourself then.
Keyboard warriors. Yeah.
That's me.
There we go.
I love hiding behind my monitor and my keyboard. You know.
Oh yes, it feels so good. No, but that's very important. So you got to understand exactly what you're gonna say, but more importantly, what am I trying to do from this question? Because when I hopped on this one, I was training this one sales team, but before I hopped on, it was like when I first got on, and then these closers are asking these questions that are so random. It's like in the first 2 minutes, they're asking, "Oh yeah, so were you out there looking for solutions, or what have you been doing?" I'm like, before they even found out what the person's trying to do, what the problem is. So I'm like,
it was even worse than that. You told me that. Can I assume that you've been looking around, shopping around?
Oh my god. Can I assume you've been looking around? I'm like, and I stopped and I was like, why are you asking it there? Or like, why are you asking it that way?
Yeah, because there must be intention behind that, right?
Yeah, and there's like, well, no, it's just the previous sales manager told me to ask it, put in the script. Yeah, but do you know why you're asking it? They're like, no. Bro, that's the problem. It's like, first of all, I applaud you for taking action, actually doing it, implementing it. However, you still need to, yes, implement it, yes, but also you got to study the reason behind it. And that's why whenever I train reps, I always say, okay, here's what you do, here's what you want to do, here's how you do it, and here's also why we do this.
That sales manager got fired.
Yeah, rest in peace.
And I got him fired also 2 years ago.
Rest in peace. Yeah, but this one rep I'm training is they're doing good for the first. So they're averaging about like 2K a month in commissions, but he did that in 1 week now.
That's good.
Yeah, so like he already like 4 times the sales. He's like, yeah, I'm on track for 10K a month in commissions. But that's what it does. That's what it fucking does. So, and also another thing brings it up to another point. With certain offers, let's say something technical like training or some type of business coaching, a trap is that when I looked at their script for the first time in the problem section. Dude, the problem section alone is a fucking 2 pages long. I'm like scrolling through, and then there's like so many nitty gritty questions, like the options, the return percentage, the data. It's like, man, it's just too much. So I told him to get rid of all of that. Just find out what's the problem. They're not making money from their trading. How long has it been going on? Okay, why are they not making money from their trading? Because they don't have the risk management. Okay, what's that doing to them? Well, they can't leave their job. They're living paycheck to paycheck. They feel anxious.
So, if you don't even know anything about the offer, you can ask like 1 or 2 situational questions accordingly. And then one thing that I learned from Marco again was, Juna, if you don't like the do you like it question, if it doesn't make sense, you can just ask, why not just keep doing what you're doing right now? What's the main reason you're potentially looking for some outside help rather than just keep doing what you're doing right now, pour more money into it? And people think like, and people who've trained in any PQA, they think it's like the last thing you ask. But Marco taught me, hey, like actually, I don't even ask the do you like it question anymore unless I really need it, unless I'm not getting a problem out of that person, I'm really save it for later. But I just ask what's the main reason you're looking to, the rationale question, what's the main reason you're looking to get help rather than just keep on doing what you're doing right now?
Yep.
And you'll get 2 outcomes. You'll prevent a do-it-yourself objection, first of all, right? And second of all, you'll get a problem. If you don't get a problem, you can be like, dude, is that working for you or do you like it? and then you'll get a problem from there.
Yeah. So you got to break down your script. If you have a script, look at your script. What am I trying to do from each question? Okay, what's the purpose of this? And what kind of answers am I looking for? And for what I sell, what do they sound like? For an example, in a biz op, when you ask, do you know what you're looking for or what kind of goal are you trying to achieve? Like, how it's phrased is not that important as long as it doesn't trigger crazy sales pressure. But you say that, what we're trying to do here is find an overarching outcome they're trying to get. In a biz op, make more money, have more time, or a little bit of both. That's good enough. Now, on something more technical, let's say you help coach offers, for example, right? So you're helping existing coaches scale their business. Make more money itself is kind of broad. So you're gonna find out, okay, so do you need help with lead gen? Do they need help with sales? Do they need help with operations, right? So when they say like, like everyone wants to make more money. Oh, brother, that's everyone else. But for you, what kind of help do you feel like you need in your business so you can scale the business? Well, we need help with lead gen. The reason why is because in a biz op, you can't be broad because they don't understand the intricacies of that other business or financial vehicle.
Yeah.
So trading, for example, they may not know that they need help with risk management. In an Airbnb biz op, they may not know that they need help with pricing strategy. So that's why make more money and have more time is more than enough. And like sales training, for example, I was asking like, I want to make more sales. Oh, brother, nobody helps on wanting to make less sales. Yeah. So what kind of help do you feel like you need? I need help with tonality. Perfect, man. And then you go into your thing. So you got to tear apart. And also another thing, depending on your question, first of all, you got a predictability in the questions and the answers, meaning that you want to ask the questions and phrase it and say it in a way that there's maybe only 2-3 maximum different types of answers the prospect can give you.
Yeah.
And based on what kind of answers you get, you know exactly how to segue into the next question.
Yeah.
And so what I started doing with this one rep that quadrupled his commissions is I had him build out a decision tree on a Miro, Lucid chart, doesn't matter what it is. So depending on, and I was talking to him for about like 1 hour yesterday. It's like, okay, what are the typical answers you get from this question? All right, boom, boom, boom. Based on that, for example, when you ask, do you know what you're looking for? They can give you what they're looking for, the outcome, or they could give you a problem right away. So if they give you the outcome, he knew exactly where to go. But I was like, okay, if they tell you maybe a problem, do I probe into that? Is that too early? It's like, okay, based on the problem, okay, so this is what we got to do. Okay, so you're dealing with this problem. So what kind of help do you feel like you need so you don't have to deal with XYZ problem?
Yeah.
Then there you get the answer. So you want to do that with everything. And then now you get predictability in your sales conversations, which is what you want.
Yeah. And as you're, this getting a little sidetracked in terms of if I ask questions like, how important is the first 5 minutes of the call?
Oh, very important.
I would say that's the most important, actually.
Yep.
The first 5 minutes, how you set the tone. Why do you say it's important though?
Because the number one is, I mean, there's different things about it. Number one is like a first impression is like a huge, right? Oh, yeah. And also, it all streams from top, right? So if you can imagine like a waterfall, and let's say someone put like a bucket of grease, right? Now, the thing is, you can try to fix like from the top. You can try to fix something what's on the bottom, right? You can try to fix like, get rid of the grease from the bottom. But dude, it's going to keep pouring in. So you got to fix it from the top. So a lot of problems in the sales call, the objection happens from up top. As an example, the prospect gives you like a vague answer. It's like, just like everyone wants this. But you haven't, again, what we're talking about in the other episode or before, you haven't coached them on how to talk, right? You haven't gotten them to take what they're looking for. So if they do that, they're going to keep doing it because why? You're literally training them on negative behavior that's not serving them, that's not serving the sale.
Yep.
So they're going to keep doing that through the entire call. So at the end, what's going to happen? What they've been doing for the entire call in the 3 months before. So they're going to be like, yeah, this sounds good, but I think I need more testimonials. Yeah, I think I'm just going to look around. So you can try to objection, yes, but yes, it's kind of a Band-Aid solution. Now, a Band-Aid is better than nothing, yes, but a lot of things you could have prevented up top.
Yep. And it's crazy because a lot of group coaching programs, if someone says, hey, I got an objection. Okay, let's look at the objection then. But when I'm doing one-on-ones, like, hey, June, I got this objection, so I want you to look at the objection. I ignore that. I'm like, okay, let's look at the first 5 minutes. There's always the answer in the first 5 minutes. Yep. Always. I'm like, hey, why would the prospect be honest with you when you didn't even set the tone that way?
Yep.
When you don't even acknowledge that, or when you don't even show that level of empathy. Like, you have to create a safe space for them to open up to you, and you're not even creating that. You're just timid. You're just nervous. You're just thinking of your next questions. you're not even looking at the prospect. So how's the prospect supposed to like trust you and give you all the honest information about them? Do you want to help them? Then show up that way also. So I even get to the part where how to set up your camera, like how to do the lighting, how to dress up. I even talk about that because first impression does matter. You know?
Yep.
First impression does matter. I don't know how I close people wearing a hoodie. Actually, it's coming to think about it.
Yeah.
So dumb, but I did that. But dress just really like just casual business attire and just have good hair and even the basics. I don't know why we even need to like coach people on this, but the entry barrier is so low, really.
It is. I mean, because I've talked to different people on like Zoom calls and things like that. Doesn't matter if it's for a sales job interview, or if it's for like a sales call. Sometimes I'd hop on with like different people on like Zoom calls, and then they have like this background, and then it looks like they're living out of like a fucking trailer park or something, or like a shitty background that's like their kitchen. It's like when someone hops on, they're instantly going to start judging you. They can't help it. We cannot help it as human beings. The reason why we have that, the reason why we have like kind of judge people in like especially the first 7 seconds, is because from an evolutionary standpoint, when we're in caveman, we had to know when we face a human being or an obstacle or a creature, is this going to threaten my life or not? Yes or no? So we had to get very good at that.
Yeah. And preconceived notion is such a real thing. Racism can be a real thing. I think I made a post about it the other day also. And people are civil enough to not verbalize that anymore. But that's the scary part now.
Yeah.
Like people will be like, oh, you look young, but they're not talking about it anymore. Oh, you're Asian, so you look young, or you're a small kid, but they don't even talk about it. And that's the scary part. You'd rather have them talk about it. That's why they don't trust you, but they don't say that. Only a few, because there's some guys that would be like, there's some prospects that wouldn't get on a call with me because my name is June, so they would go on a call with Brandon or I don't know, Jack or John, whoever English name it is. Or there was one guy that would be like, I don't want to talk with the Chinese customer service. Before even getting on a call with me, And by the way, I'm Korean,
Yeah.
And or I was having a pleasant conversation with this lady, and then she's like, and then it was like we were having a pleasant conversation. Then like the last moment, we're like, I'm trying to collect the credit card information. She was giving her digits, and then suddenly, hey June, by the way, where are you at right now? Where are you from? I'm like, what the fuck? What does that have to do with me right now? And then she didn't even ask it in like a pleasant conversation way. She was like, suddenly she changed her tone. By the way, June, where are you from? I'm like, if I were a white dude, would you say that? If I were a black dude, would you say that? I'm like, and she was like, I probed into that. I was like, no, you just cannot trust people these days, And back in the days, I didn't have a ton of skill set. It was like 4 years ago, and that would happen quite often. So it's a skill set thing also. But also, did I have to necessarily go through that? I don't think so also. But it's true. Preconceived notion is a thing, So that's why I tell people, if you're, whatever, white, black, Asian, like, I don't know, brown, like, whatever ethnicity you are, like, you need to train 2x harder than the ones that are preconceived as professional. Like, I think white have a good preconceived notion. That's like naturally, and it's just reality, not necessarily discriminating. But white are perceived as neutral. The others are like kind of like less relevant. But that's your strength. That's your pattern interrupt.
Yeah, you can use it as an advantage. Like the trap is people fall into as a self-justification of their lack of success, like blaming on that. We're not talking about this, but we can use that as an advantage because, for example, if you're Indian and you clearly look Indian and you have an Indian accent, yes, people are gonna, generally speaking, perceive you as lower status. I know it sucks. It's not politically correct that we're talking about that. It's just the fucking truth. It's just how it goes.
Yep.
Right? Or like Southeast Asian, for example. Or if you have like a thick European accent, yes, they start to see you as lower status. It's just how it is. Because there's one dude I'm training right now, and he has like this thick European accent. It's like, and kind of like this. I can't even.
And
yeah.
Wow, we're gonna cancel. We're gonna get canceled, bro, because of you.
But so he's like, when he was sending me the call, I was like, hey Brian, this car.
Hey, this reminds me of some voice messages from.
Much love, Nick. Shout out to Nick. But yeah, he was sending me that, He's like, yeah, I don't think I found the problem. It's things like that. I was like, or like the objection handling is like, I clearly see people are just like, it's like, hey, this is from this company. It's like people are like, yeah. I can see, I can hear. It's just their accent and also the tonality that goes along with it.
Yeah.
So what I started telling him was like, dude, people are kind of being kind of elephant in the room. So you got to point out the elephant in the room in a way that benefits you. So as an example, I said, do you just say something like, okay, first after you open, hey, it's just June, it's just Brian from XYZ company. Yeah, looks like you requested for this. Is that right? Yeah, and by the way, I'm from Europe, so if I sound like the Italian mafia, it's not because of that. It's just like my English is my second language, so please forgive me, right? So, because like, what's gonna happen is when you do that, it's like that 8 Mile movie. We talked about this before. In 8 Mile, it's a rap battle movie basically. Eminem goes on a first rap battle. He's a white dude in hip hop, which is a disadvantage. So he gets made fun of by the black dude. He's like, "You're white. You live in a trailer park. You suck." And Eminem chokes. He's just like, nothing to say because fuck.
No. It was what was that guy's name? Anthony. I don't know. The black guy chokes, not Eminem.
No, the first time they go on, Eminem chokes.
Okay, yeah.
Second time they do it, right? The dude who plays Falcon, he goes against Falcon, and then that time, what Eminem does, like, yes, I am white. I do live in a trailer park with my mom. So what? So when they do that, when the black dude got the mic, he's like, okay, nothing to say, because he already said it. So same thing. And I learned this after like Marco does this, right? And just so you know, my accent English is not first language. Please forgive me.
And Bogdan does it also. Like,
Bogdan does
if
it
I
too.
sound like I'm eating soap right now, I probably am also.
Yeah, exactly. So when you say that, what it does is like the person's like, oh, that's what's going on. And second is when you say something like that, but in a self-deprecating, like funny, playful humor, then if they say like, oh, your accent sucks, dude, they're gonna be a fucking dick.
Yeah.
So they're gonna, oh, don't worry about it. No, I totally get it. They're gonna say shit like that. And then instantly the conversation, first of all, you have an advantage that other English as a first language people don't.
Yeah.
Because now you can use it as a means to disarm that person that like a normal American wouldn't have.
Yeah.
So it's your fucking advantage.
And what I found most powerful when you actually said it is I actually chuckled. I actually cracked up. It was funny. Humor builds trust and authority, though. Because self-deprecating jokes are my favorite, because why would anyone be self-deprecating? It means that you don't take shit. You don't take shit too seriously. You don't have to take shit too seriously. You're already living a good life already. It communicates that.
Yep.
So it's like, when I heard that, I was like, oh shit, I want to talk with this guy now. It's like, and people with accent, people from different ethnicity, like this is what you say, and I 100% agree also, is you got to be 2x more confident. You got to train up 2x more, and you have to be a little sleazy. It's difficult to be sleazy, by the way.
It ain't easy being sleazy.
It ain't easy being sleazy. You cannot be neutral. Neutral is for the ones that are fluent in English and like, I don't know, like a white dude. But you cannot be neutral. You have to be fucking confident, because that's what they want. They want us to be timid. They want us to be passive. They want us to be insecure with our own English. Be like, I don't know how to speak English. Fuck that. Show what you're fucking capable of. But if you're incompetent, if you don't fucking train, you're always gonna be crushed. And guess what? What the scary part is, people are civil enough to not verbalize why they don't trust you anymore. So you gotta fucking train and be over prepared, especially when you have an accent. If you're Asian, be bigger in the call. Show that you're like show that you don't give a fuck. Show that you're absolutely friendly, and you're like, you present yourself in the most confident way. Talk a little faster, I guess. Don't be like so.
Be sharp.
Be like a shark, really. Be sharp and be like a shark, really.
Yeah. Is that what DJ Khaled said? They don't want us to win. Another one.
God did.
God did.
God did.
God did. I love DJ Khaled.
Actually, I want to talk about this subject also because you sold NEPQ.
Yeah.
NEPQ is not cheap.
Oh, so fun.
Not cheap.
I was selling salespeople.
There's a whole thing about this congruency thing. Low
Yeah.
ticket versus high ticket. And you should buy expensive sales training because you need to be congruent or something like that, you know. What's your take on it?
I mean, it's not about like the price point that matters because right now I sell both. I have a low ticket and I have a high ticket for my sales training. But being completely unbiased, like it, because like the best sales training program I've ever taken was NEP Inner Circle, right? That was 17 grand. And the second best sales training I ever took was Closing Code by Sales Sniper. And that was like $120 US a month. Can you imagine? But there were other programs that are like more expensive than that.
Yeah.
But the discrepancy between the first and the second is like $120 a month versus like 17 grand. But Closing Code was so fucking good. Rest in peace, Closing Code. It's not there anymore. But it's so fucking good because you got like 6 role plays a week. And more doesn't mean merrier, right? That's another common trap that people fall into. Is like beginner closers do like 3 hours of role play a day. I'm like, bro, call the fucking leads, follow up, and upsell. You know?
Well, I mean, if you have a no-show, you can watch our podcast though. In the meantime.
Yeah, there we go. Our podcast is an exception.
Our podcast is an exception.
Subscribe. Please. Stop copying me. I swear to God. You did it in the last episode too.
Yeah. But, yeah.
We lost our track of thought. Again. Okay. So the programs,
okay,
right?
yeah. So, okay, low ticket, high ticket. Wow. I think I need to state out. I think I need to kind of like organize my thoughts because
You're all over the place.
I am all over the place.
Terrible.
I'm a terrible human being.
Fired.
So I didn't pay for any PQ 2.0. My sales team had it.
Oh.
I went through the whole entire thing 5 times. It was just revolutionary for me.
Yeah.
I don't know. It was just revolutionary for me. I think I went that like 3 years ago. And it was like, even though I didn't pay for it, right? It was one of the most life-changing moments I've ever had in sales. I was like, oh shit, this is what I can say now. I don't have to wing it anymore because I would always choke at a sales call. I didn't know what to say. I just don't have that reflex. I'm just really shitty at talking with people, just in general. I just want to be good at it, but no one gave me a word for word. I didn't even know what my problem was until I actually trained the script. I was like, okay, this is what I can say. Good Lord, thank you. And then I invested in Marco one-on-one. I don't know his price right now, but back then it was like 4 coaching sessions. Each coaching session was like 1 hour strict. It's like $3K for 1 month. I didn't think it was bad at all for Marco's time. I was like, wow.
Yeah, for Marco.
It's Marco Cortese. So I was like, okay. And I think I didn't get instant results, honestly, though. But it piled up.
Yep.
It piled up immensely. Like it was like this exponential growth graph. You know, it was like in the beginning it was like this, but it looks like a hockey stick as it just compiled up. And then I invested in Bill Walsh's program. I think it was like just 5 figures also. When I first started out, I only had $3K in my bank account, gave all my $3K. Bill was like, yeah, let's take it, let's do it. The next month, made some good money. Found an offer within the group, and I was like, okay, let's go. But I would say one of my biggest sales influences would be Caleb Mikolov. I don't know how to pronounce his last name. I'm sorry. If I'm butchering your last name, I'm sorry. I apologize publicly.
Fired.
But he was my manager, actually.
Oh.
And so he would get on calls with me one-on-one. He loves coaching, by the way. And I think he liked me because he would, like, whenever he says something, I would record it. And I would just practice that word track to the T that whole day. Because I didn't want to think about the words. I wanted to make sure that it just automatically comes out. So in order for you to have it automatically come out without even thinking about the words, like you think about how many times you have to repeat those words. So I'll just record it. I'll just like transcribe and just read it out loud as many times as possible. When I'm working out in the gym, in my rest time, I'll watch it. Whenever I'm in the bathroom, whenever I'm like just not taking sales calls, so
Taking a shit.
yeah, taking shit calls.
Yep.
I would give a shit about this, so.
Oh. Punchline. Eminem. Jun Minem.
So my biggest sales experience, sales influence is knowing that it's Caleb. I didn't pay any money to that guy.
You did after.
I did after.
Yeah.
I did after. But in terms of sales career, though, like, I don't think it really matters how much you pay as long as you're committed. As long as it's going to be like, oh, I'm going to make this work.
Yep.
So.
Do you have to pay? I don't think you have to. And that's unbiased because that's not beneficial to us. But do you have to? No. But what it does, it's not about, yes, when you pay attention, yes, for sure. Yes, I believe in that because let's say, for example, especially if someone shit, and like they haven't invested in any sales training. Like that could be some problem.
Yeah.
But are we still talking about script versus no script? I'm like losing my thought track.
No, we're talking. We're way beyond that.
Yeah.
Now.
Okay.
We were done with the conversation 30 minutes ago. Wake up! Wake up! Wake up! So, anyways, I don't believe that you have to pay a lot of money for sales training also. And if I went back to my career, I think I would just invest more in terms of one-on-ones.
Yep.
Rather than just big coaching programs. Big coaching programs do give you a framework and a formula, but at the end of the day, what really just opened my eyes was the one-on-ones. Like someone would point out, so all the things that I've learned from different sales training, Eli Wild, Andy PQ, like Cole Gordon, Bill Walsh, Nick Schroeder, all of these trainings, there was a point where there was a point where I got a little confused actually. My closing ratio was dropping actually. The one that actually refined it was the one-on-ones though. One-on-ones was Marco. Marco was like, I was confused with NEPQ and a lot of sales training that I've done before also. And Marco, and like the way of the wolf, like, right, what was
the wolf on Wall Street, as Uncle Jay would say.
Well, what was the name?
Jordan Belfort.
Jordan Belfort, yeah. So I was confused with all of that. Marco refined all of that process for me and gave me clarity with one-on-ones and pointing out what I actually was doing wrong. And then I quit sales for 7 months, get back to the Bill Walsh program. And then after that, I was in a little bit of slump. What refined my process after all these training programs was definitely Caleb. So, and Caleb was like I said, I paid $0. Just consult me. He just did one-on-ones with me for free because I was committed. He knew I was committed. So as long as you're committed, you can watch YouTube videos and you can just follow what Jeremy Miner says. Honestly, on YouTube, if you're that resourceful, good luck on that.
Yeah, it's like kind of one way, right? Because what I always say is to prospects, like, I'm watching YouTube videos. And it's interesting that when I was selling 7th, and then they truly believe that watching YouTube, they're trying their hardest watching the fucking YouTube videos. And I was like, oh, brother, if YouTube was enough, I'd have a 6-pack and a 9-figure passive income by now. So like,
stop being politically correct. I know that's not what you actually say at the call. What do you actually say? We'll beep it out, by the way.
Brother, if YouTube was enough, I'd have a 6-pack and a 9-inch by now. So like, yeah. So
okay, yeah.
If YouTube was enough. So like, what have you tried in terms of professional? Because, and I say this not as a reframe to just make the sale, yes, as a part of it, but because I believe that, okay, but what if you actually professionally try it? Because someone's got to look over you. It's like, hey, here's what you're fucking up. This is why these objections are happening, and this is what you got to do, and kind of tailor it for your situation. And so, and going back to your point too, is like when you felt like you didn't get immediate results from the one-on-ones or different programs you did, that's a lot of times like that. And because in the beginning, but later on, it feels like, oh, you came out of nowhere. No, you didn't come out of nowhere. It was all the things you did before. As Hormozy gave this example where, let's say you're building a house, you put the roof on, now the house is over. But yeah, what about the fucking foundational work you did before?
Yeah.
It doesn't seem like the house is being finished. No, it doesn't look like it, seem like it, but it's like all stacks up. Because me going back to, like, even the first ever like sales course I took, it was like an SMMA course, and sales was a part of it. And there's still something that I took away from that, even though it wasn't the best sales course. As an example, the best principle I learned from sales is like most of the times, the moment you don't collect the payment and then you let the prospect go, 80% of the time, just imagine the sales is gone.
Yep.
Because number one, it's most likely they will be gone. And number two, you don't get your hopes up. Now, there really wasn't a good sales course, I believe. But that one thing, I'm like, oh, like I still carry it to this day. Same thing with like Cole Gordon's program, same thing. So it didn't feel like I was getting results from that. And then it's like, this program was the magic key. No. It was all the things that stacked up before.
Oh, yeah. And probably that was kind of going to be like a Sam Ovens rip-off script or anything like that, like a 7-figure script.
There we go.
But I completely agree with you, and I think we can wrap up this topic, is that when I was getting one-on-one coaching by Marco, I had my own script already built out based on NEPQ 2.0, and that was the script I was using. I was doing one-on-one with Marco. Marco was like, do you know why you're asking that question? I was like, oh, shit, I don't know. And he was like, that's your problem. Because you watch the course, I get that you know a little bit about NEPQ, and I know that you've done the course, I can see that, but you're just imitating right now. It's not yours. Do you know why? I was like, I don't know. I don't exactly know why I'm asking that question. Until he pointed it out. That was my blind spot, by the way. No one told me that. This is the specific outcome that you're looking for with that question. And that is why you're going to ask it this way instead of the traditional Eddie PQ way. I was like, no. I thank Marco so much because if it wasn't for Marco, I kept on selling that way. I just cannot imagine being that scripted guy. If I think about it, like I was so bad. I was so fucking bad. And Marco saved my life. That and there.
Oh.
And I would say, yeah, I mean, you can watch YouTube videos all day, but
Sounds like we're at church. It's like our Lord and Savior, Marco Cortesi.
Marco should pay me a commission by now.
Oh, there we
shout
go.
out to Marco all the
Rev
time.
share with Marco.
Go back to Marco all the time. But yeah, Marco is the one that actually set up a structure. Now, what I was actually curious about, and I think a lot of people are curious about is you're promoting your school group, but you're talking about a lot about outbounds. Now, what do you say in an outbound call? Because I think there used to be a lot of fluff in terms of, oh, this is the best opener, that is the best opener, this is how you're going to say it, you cannot collect payments on the call, or you have to, like, there's a lot of, I think, misinformation, so you clarify that.
Depending on where the outbound is coming from, did it come from a lead magnet? Did it come from an opt-in lead? Did it come from they bought a low ticket stuff? Or is it coming from like whatever, right? So it depends on that. So first you got to understand this because a lot of, not just, outbound just isn't for setters, right? Because what I started doing was I started teaching outbound to closers, which is kind of like, it's almost like you're taking a step back. But why that is important, first of all, is because lead flow and marketing will inevitably shit the bed at one point. It's not an if, it's a when. Even when I sold for multiple 8-figure companies, we're putting so much effort and time and money into marketing, it's still shit the bed. So you cannot avoid it. Now, instead of just like offer hopping right away, dude, if it's a good offer, fucking stay there, right? And so when that happens, you got to be able to not just rely on some dude from the fucking marketing department for your commissions for you and your family. Are you going to do that? For me, fuck that shit. But you take destiny and fate into your own hands. So outbound, I started coaching that to guys. And there's one team I'm training. And so like now they would have just relied on the one call, but they started getting like 2K off on outbound, 10K piff off on outbound, right? And so that's why it's important. Now, second, you got to understand where it's coming from. Once you understand it, you got to kind of custom tailor in the beginning. Rest of the call is pretty much the fucking same, right? So you first go in, you open, and then you go into the overarching outcome they're looking for. So let's say it's like they download like a lead magnet or something like that, right? Hey, this is Jun.
Oh yeah, it's Jun.
Hey Jun, it's just Brian from XYZ company, man. Looks like you requested some information about possibly starting an Airbnb business to make more money. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah, man, I just had a few minutes to get back to you, man. But have you ever found what you're looking for, or are you still looking?
What are you talking about?
Oh, yeah, I think you downloaded this like 7 different ways of like starting an Airbnb business.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, man.
That was a while ago, though.
Oh, yeah, man, that happens, man. I don't even remember what I had for breakfast this morning, so that totally happens. But yeah, man, when you initially downloaded it, like what kind of outcome are you trying to get?
I mean, it sounded good and just sounded like a good way to make more money, you know?
Boom, there we go. So we get that. So when you call like opt-in leads, for example, you'll get different types of responses. One is that they downloaded, started going through it. 2, they don't fucking remember. 3 is they haven't gone through it. So in that case, like if they have gone through it, very easy conversation, you go through it. If they don't remember, you slightly remind them. But if they don't, it's like, man, totally get it, man. I don't even remember what I had for breakfast this morning. But if you were to download it, what do you feel would have prompted you to download it?
Okay, why are you asking that question, by the way? Out of all those openers, do you know have you found what you're looking for, or are you still looking? Like, why did you ask that question?
Because you would get them into a buying state. Not like a buying, but we get them into a state of like, yes, I am looking for this outcome. And doesn't matter what answer they give you, you don't get stuck in that. You just go along with the conversation, right? Because you said like, I don't remember. At first, I was like, oh, okay. Well, like you downloaded this. You first remind them, but the trap is like you get caught up in the weeds, like, oh, but the this and this and that. You try to explain for too long. Trap, right? If they don't remember, that totally happens. You kind of laugh it up. I don't even remember what I for breakfast this morning. So you kind of laugh, and they're like, yeah, haha. It's like, but if you were to download it, what do you feel would have prompted you to download something like that in the first place? I learned it from Matt. So all we're trying to do here is first disarm them. You open, and then get the overarching outcome. And based on that, and another common trap is that as a closer, you don't have to book the appointment, book them for the next day, send them homework, make sure they show up on Zoom. You don't have to do that. So when you have the outbound, if you and they have the time, just go all the way to the end. Unless it's an ice cold lead that you want to educate them and you want to send them homework material, client cases, things like that. Yes, but generally speaking, just take the outbound call all the way to the end. Meaning
Okay,
that you take
so-
the outbound and you pitch and you sell.
Under the premise that they kind of know what it is about that you're talking about.
Unless they're so ice cold, they have no idea what's going on. Then yeah, you send them like client cases, like homework material.
Yeah, and no show leads. How would you open up?
No show, same thing, man. Hey, this is June.
Yeah, that's true.
Hey, June, it's just Brian from XOZ Company, man. Hey, we had a call yesterday, but you didn't quite show up. Did something happen or what ended up happening?
No, yeah, I just totally forgot about it.
What are we gonna do? You totally get it, man. It happens. But yeah, have you found what you're looking for? Or are you still looking?
In terms of?
Yeah, looking for ways to start a business to make more money.
Yeah.
Okay, and then you just go all the way to the sales call.
Yeah, and do you know what you're looking for?
Yeah, so you go all the way, and then you pitch, you sell, you objection. Like, the reason why is because I learned this from Matt. You don't want to put artificial barrier in front of you, meaning that if they're there, just fucking pitch them. This is how Matt he hopped on one of the he hopped on like 7th level sales team or selling part time when he was selling being CEO, but he outsold the entire sales team of like 20 or something reps by himself, and then he would just sell like 30K, 100K, like with B2B, like he would book a call. But when he was selling for ClickFunnels, as an example, selling like 30K packages, he would just outbound dial them and then sell the fucking 30K on the spot on the one call.
Yep.
Instead of booking like another call.
Yep.
So if they're already there, just like, because what's going to happen is this. Because some people are going to say like, yeah, but wouldn't it be better to send them like, warm them up a little bit? Yes, but you lose more sales from the no-shows. No more deals from the no-shows, because what's going to happen is they're going to fall through the cracks, especially if you show up, let's say like 60, 70%, you're going to lose more people from the no-show to people not warmed as much. And as Matt would say, dude, just fucking slap down deals. Just smack deals.
And it's already dead lead if you're not calling them up. So just give it a shot, honestly.
Yeah, most people don't even do that anyway.
Yeah, most people don't even. They're already dead lead already.
Yep.
And what are gonna do? Rely on the setters? No disrespect to the setters.
I do not trust my setters.
But you should be better than your setters. That's why you're closers.
Yeah.
In terms of skill set,
Yep.
They're just starting out. They're they're grinding it out. But you and I, we've done a lot of outbounds, really. Started my career as an outbound dialer also. You just voluntarily did it. I think time was already up. I thought we were going to be talking about it, Dr. Smoke. Do you have enough time to ask?
Cliffhanger, we'll put that in the next episode. Yes, that means you have to watch the next episode. So we'll wrap it up there. Always good to wrap it up. Always wrap it up. So hope you enjoyed this video, this episode. Smash the like button. Comment below your biggest takeaway. Subscribe and share it to your sales homies. So we'll see you in the next episode.
Peace.
Peace.